Platform App Builder Certification Exam 1. How can an approval request be triggered? User clicks a button or link. Process or flow starts that includes a submit for approval action, or Apex. Approvals can be triggered from a button, process, flow, or programmatically from Apex. While designing your application, you are reviewing the data types that would be suitable for each field. Which data types are valid for custom fields? Number, currency, and percent, and email, phone, and URL. Address and radio button field types are not available for custom fields. After a review, it was decided that custom objects A and B need to be in a master detail relationship instead of the current lookup relationship. A is the proposed master. Which of these items would you investigate before making the change? Number of existing master detail relationships on object B, and number of null values in the existing lookup field on object B. A custom object can only be the child in two master detail relationships. A lookup can be converted to a master detail only if there is no null value for that lookup field in any record. Other parameters do not impact the conversion of lookup to master detail. Your Salesforce organization uses a custom object to capture expense data. You are required to ensure that an expense record is only visible to the respective record owners, and those above him/her in the management hierarchy. Which of these items would you need to configure? Role hierarchy, and organization-wide sharing defaults. To achieve this, you must ensure the org-wide sharing default for the expense object is set to private, and a proper role hierarchy is configured. You would also need to mark grant access using hierarchies to true for the expense object. You need to provide a way to invoke a custom report from the account detail page. The report should render values that are specific to the account in context. What are the best options you have to achieve this need? Detail page button, and detail page links. This is best done by providing a detail page link or detail page button that invokes the report by passing the account ID parameter. The URL would be of the form, /report record ID, PV0 equals. Account.id PV stands for parameter value, and account ID would be defined as the first filter on the report. A developer has created a calculated cost field on the opportunity product object. There is a requirement to display the total calculated cost on the opportunity. Can the developer meet this requirement with a roll-up summary field? Yes, if the formula only refers to fields in the opportunity product object, and yes, if the formula does not contain the now or today functions. A roll-up summary field can work with a formula field unless the formula is referring to a field in another related object. For example, if the formula is referring to a field in the related product object, it will not work. The formula field cannot use any dynamic formulas such as now or today. Stock symbol is a custom field on the account object. What is the best way to make this field appear on the contact detail page layout? Use a formula field. A formula field allows the inserting of references to fields of a parent object. In this case, account.stock_symbol__C. Customer service has no access to opportunities. Due to a new cross-selling initiative, customer service needs to get access to the opportunity object to create and edit opportunities. How can this be set up? In Profiles. In Standard Profiles, you can edit a limited number of settings. In Custom Profiles, you can edit all available permissions and settings, except the user license. Dan is considering the requirement to ensure that the value in a custom field source country on the order object is validated against the standard list of ISO countries that are valid for the particular type of order, when the order is saved. What is the best way to achieve this requirement? Create a before trigger and validate the value using Apex code. In this case, trying to include all of the possible values in a validation rule may reach the maximum allowed number of characters and be hard to maintain. The VLOOKUP function only works on the record name field. A before trigger could validate the entry against possible values stored in a custom object and return an error if the value is not found before the record is saved. You have a requirement to ensure that if the discount field on opportunity is greater than 30%, the record should be automatically submitted for approval. Which of the following would help you meet this requirement? Approval process, or Process Builder. Process Builder can be used to submit records to an existing approval process based on a condition. Visual Workflow can also be used to submit records for approval, but in this example, Process Builder is most suitable tool to use as it can be triggered from the creation or update of the opportunity record. A custom object called sample has a master detail relationship with the opportunity object. One opportunity can have one or many related samples. Each sample has fields for start date, estimated end date and actual end date. How would a developer meet this requirement to provide a count of all related samples which are still active? Actual end date is not completed. Create a roll-up summary field. Create a roll-up summary field on opportunity which provides a count of all related samples where actual end date is null, blank. You have a customer who would like to see a red flag appear on the case record detail page if the case is older than 10 days. How would you add this red flag image on the case detail page? Formula field. Formula fields can be used to display images that are stored as static resources in the Salesforce org. What is true regarding assigning approval requests to queues? Any queue members can approve or reject an approval request. Also, approval request emails are sent to the queue email address. Approval requests can only be assigned to objects that support queues. A group or queue cannot be assigned as a delegated approver. You have been requested to configure the Salesforce system, so that an account record that has type field equals internal must be visible to all users. The associated contacts and opportunities also need to become visible to everyone. How many sharing rules would you define here? One sharing rule. This requires only one account sharing rule. The level of access for associated contacts and opportunities can be specified within the account sharing rule. Universal Systems has a net worth field on the account object to capture total revenue worth of its customers. However, only executive users should be able to view the data in this field. How would you help Universal Systems achieve this requirement? Specify field level security for the net worth field. Field level security settings let administrators restrict users' access to view and edit specific fields. You are building a project management application. According to the design given to you, a project must store information regarding the various functional modules under it. Each functional module must store information regarding the responsibility assigned to each developer. Information about the responsibility must have information about the due date and status. What could be the most optimal data model to achieve this? Create a project object then module as child object. Add tasks to modules. The most suitable design would be to define project and module as a master detail relationship. Then utilize standard functionality of tasks to define responsibility. Due date and status are fields on tasks. Which of the following is not a declarative option available for incorporating Lightning components in an application? Adding a JavaScript component to a Lightning page. Standard and custom components can be added to a Lightning page in the Lightning App Builder. Which workflow action cannot be automated using point-and-click through Process Builder? Outbound message. Process Builder can be utilized to automate all workflow actions except outbound messages. What are the different types of Lightning pages? App page, record page, and home page. Different types of Lightning pages can be created with the Lightning App Builder, including app, home, and record pages. What operations can be performed using the GUI interface of Data Loader? All of the above. Data Loader can be used to upload attachments, documents, or links into Salesforce CRM content and hard delete or soft delete records. When an opportunity is closed, you would like to automatically create custom object commission records. A commission record is generated for each account rep that was associated with the opportunity. The commission record has a value field which needs to be calculated based on the account rep role on the opportunity, time to close the deal and type and value of the opportunity. How could this be done? Apex Trigger. Workflow cannot create records. While Process Builder can create records, in this case, it is a complex calculation and a trigger would be required. Universal Containers want to make sure that their field agents can update shipment information when they are out of the office. What does an admin need to do to ensure that Salesforce One can be used to update shipment records from the Salesforce One mobile app? Nothing. Salesforce One supports custom objects and page layouts. Salesforce One supports custom objects and page layouts, and will automatically be updated if any changes are done in the web interface. You are building a recruitment management application. Your application requires the ability to hold details regarding a job position, details regarding a candidate, and details regarding a candidate's application to a job position. Which of these represent the best data model to achieve this need? Define the position and candidate objects, then application as a junction object. Application refers to the logical relationship between one candidate and one job position. One candidate can apply for many job positions, and vice versa. Therefore, candidate and position need to be in a many-to-many relationship with application as the intersection, junction, object. There is a requirement when the audit field on an account record is marked as Y, all audit team members get access to it. An audit team is a collection of senior users from each department, and keeps changing often. What would you recommend to address this need? Create a sharing rule, and associate it to public groups. A public group is a collection of users in no particular order, and can be used to represent a cross-department audit team. Sharing rules can be assigned to public group. Universal Systems measures its overall business efficiency through a single value called Customer Stickiness Score. What is the best way to represent this key value on a managerial dashboard? Metric. Metric components are used for displaying a key value on a dashboard. Universal Containers is using Salesforce to manage travel requests. They would like to enable managers to approve travel requests via email. What is true regarding email approval responses? Approvers must have an API-enabled system permission. Approval responses can sent via email with the approval or rejection decision on the first line and comments included on the second line. Approvers can click the link in the approval email to go to the record in Salesforce, but this is optional. There are two custom objects A and B, which are in a parent-child relationship. On deleting a record of custom object A, all associated custom object B records are also deleted. Based on the given information, which of the following statements is true? There is a lookup field to object A on object B, and it is required. A and B are in a master detail relationship, and therefore, the lookup field on object B is required. Global Containers has a requirement to conduct a daily data backup. As a Salesforce developer, which is the best option to achieve this? Apex Data Loader from command line. Data Loader can be invoked from command line to perform automated or unattended routine import and export activities. In a Salesforce One mobile app, which of the following corresponds to the tab area in the browser-based application? Navigation menu. Instead of tabs, mobile users access objects from items in the navigation menu. You have defined a workflow to update the field value of is active to true when the field value of subscription is set to active. Your colleague defined another workflow to update the field value of subscription to active when is active is set to true. What would occur in this case? Salesforce org would exceed its limit for workflow time triggers per hour. The workflow definition will lead to recursive field updates, and will go into an infinite loop, causing the Salesforce workflow time trigger limit per hour to be hit. Which of the following field types can be used as an external ID? Text, and number. An external ID can be a text, number, or email field. there is a requirement to view sales order data stored in SAP within the Salesforce account record. What is the best way to meet this requirement? Define an external object in Salesforce to access the sales orders data. External objects can be used to map to data stored outside of Salesforce. It is required to define an update payment feature for a custom object, which users can access on Salesforce One. Clicking the update payment must allow the user to update the status field on a custom object, as well as enter comments. What is the best tool you have to achieve this? Quick Actions. Quick Actions are a way to add a new functionality to Salesforce, and make it available on a record detail page, even in Salesforce One. Which of the following sequences of milestones would represent a typical application life cycle? Development, integration testing, user acceptance testing, staging, and production migration. A typical application life cycle would include the following milestones: development, integration testing, user acceptance testing, staging, production migration. A custom app can include one or more custom tabs. What kind of custom tabs can be included in an application? All of the above. Custom tabs can include web tabs, Lightning component tabs, Lightning page tabs, Visualforce tabs, and custom object tabs. Which amongst the following provides a dynamic environment for viewing and modifying all the objects and relationships in a Force.com app? Schema Builder. Schema Builder provides a dynamic environment for viewing and modifying all the objects and relationships in your app. You can view your existing schema and interactively add new custom objects, custom fields, and relationships, simply by dragging and dropping. Universal Containers is planning a production release. Which steps would not be part of the deployment plan? Announce the deployment and ask users not to log in. And update test coverage in production if test coverage is not sufficient. Users should be locked out, so they are not able to log in. Test coverage cannot be updated in production. If a workflow email alert should be sent when an opportunity probability is updated to be greater than 75%, what should the evaluation criteria be? When a record is created and any time it's edited to subsequently meet criteria. When a record is created and any time it's edited to subsequently meet the criteria, it will ensure that it will be fired only when the probability is greater than 75% initially, or when it initially did not meet the criteria. For example, it was below 75%, and then was updated to meet the criteria. For example, it was updated to be greater than 75%. Sam, a Salesforce developer, is trying to limit contact record visibility using the role hierarchy. While testing, he is not able to see any data visibility restrictions that should have been imposed by the role hierarchy. What could be a reason? Sam's profile has view all data permission, or Sam's profile has view all permission for contact object. View all and view all data permissions override any data sharing rules and grant visibility to all data in context. You have a custom object for holding expense requests. Now you have a requirement to ensure that when the status field on expense request changes to processed, a chatter post is made. Which of the following helps you meet this requirement? Process Builder, or Visual Workflow. Posting to chatter is only allowed by Process Builder and Flows. Sam has written the following validation rule for the custom field, count, or count__c equals 0. Mod, count__c, 2, not equal to 0, what should the error message on this validation rule be set to? Count must be a non-zero even number. The error message is displayed when a validation rule criteria evaluates to true. In this case, it checks whether count is 0, or count is odd. If either is true, it gives an error. What is not a capability of the lead object? The administrator cannot map standard or custom lead fields to fields in account, contact, and opportunity objects as part of lead conversion. Also, custom objects that have been related to a lead can be copied when a lead is converted to the account, contact, or opportunity. Only custom fields can be mapped as part of lead conversion. Salesforce automatically maps standard lead fields to standard account, contact, and opportunity fields, and the standard mapping cannot be changed. Related objects cannot be copied when a lead is converted. There is a requirement to add an action to the account page in Salesforce 1 to enable creation of cases. How can this be accomplished? Create an object-specific action. An object-specific action can create related records, such as creating a case related to an account. The account object has more than 100 custom fields created to store customer-related data. There has been a lot of complaints regarding the usability of this object. You decide to create a third column on the page layout to reduce the need to scroll down the page. How can a third column be created? Create a Visualforce page. In standard page layouts, the option is 1 or 2 columns per section. To create a third column, a Visualforce page must be created. In a service application, different kinds of resources are assigned to jobs. The resource types are phones, vehicles, and tools. They share mostly common fields but also have some fields unique to each resource type. How should you represent this in Salesforce? Create one custom object and use record types. If the fields are mostly common between the 3 resource types, it is preferable to use one custom object and record types to display different page layouts depending on the resource type. Universal containers would like to examine their sales by region and country. Therefore, they need a subtotal at country level for their sales data report. In this case, what format should the sales data report be in? Summary. Summary reports are similar to tabular reports, but also allow users to group rows of data, view subtotals, and create charts. You have defined a custom object shipment that has a lookup to another custom object service level. Only users with a manager role are allowed to select the expedited value in the service level lookup. How would you achieve this? Required lookup filter. Although a validation rule could work, a preferable option is to use a required lookup filter to restrict the values that users can select. Lookup filters can reference the user's profile or role in the filter criteria. Global Insurance will use Salesforce to collect lead information from different sources. The information collected about a lead will vary greatly depending on if the lead is interested in life insurance or business insurance. What features would you suggest to use to configure Salesforce in this situation? Record types. Record types can be used to display different pick list values and page layouts for different types of leads. Salesforce can connect social profiles to all of the following objects except users. Salesforce can connect social profiles to leads, person and business accounts, and contacts. You have been given a partial copy sandbox that has 5 GB of data storage. You are aware that your production data adds up to 68 GB of data. Keeping the storage limitation in mind, how do you ensure that only the data relevant for testing is brought into the partial copy sandbox? Sandbox templates. Sandbox templates allow you to pick specific objects and data to copy to your full or partial copy sandbox so you can control the size and content of each sandbox. Which of the components will be renamed if the naming conflict occurs when installing an unmanaged package? List view, and report. If a naming conflict occurs, the install is blocked. Nonetheless, for some of the components, Salesforce can optionally change the name of the component being installed. Reporting snapshot. Dashboard. Email template. Folder. List view. Report. When using change sets, which one of the following cannot be transferred from one Salesforce org to another? Account records. Account records represent data, not metadata. Change sets are used only to transfer metadata, information about the org configuration. What is true regarding person accounts in Salesforce? Person accounts do not have a parent account field, and person accounts do not have the account hierarchy feature. Person accounts do not have the parent account and account hierarchy features. In what order does Salesforce process the following rules? Validation, assignment, auto-response, workflow, and then escalation. The order in which Salesforce evaluates these rules are: A. Validation rules. B. Assignment rules. C. Auto-response rules. D. Workflow rules, with immediate actions. E. Escalation rules. The marketing department would like to manage email campaigns and track responses, including the number of opens and clicks in Salesforce. What is the recommended solution to this requirement? Use a third-party app from the AppExchange. AppExchange products are available that can send mass emails and enable the tracking of responses within Salesforce. Standard campaign functionality cannot track email statistics such as opens and clicks. Object A and Object B are in a master detail relationship, with A as the master. Also, there is a sharing rule that grants edit permission to Object A for all marketing users. Based on the given information, which of the following statements are true? Object B cannot have an owner field, and marketing users have edit access to Object B. The custom object on the detail side cannot have an owner and inherits access rules from the master. Universal Containers is doing a deep analysis on their monthly sales data, and would like the sales revenue split as products sold per country. What would be the ideal report format to address this need? Matrix. Matrix reports are similar to summary reports but allow you to group and summarize data by both rows and columns. There is a requirement to display the accounts that users own in the Opportunity Account lookup, but also allow users to select other accounts if required. How can this be configured? Optional lookup filter. An optional lookup filter could filter account results shown in the lookup to those that the user owns but also allow users to click the Show All Results link to show all accounts. Sam tried to convert a master detail relationship into a lookup relationship. He was, however, not able to do so. What could be the reason? A roll-up summary field exists on the master object. You can convert a master detail relationship to a lookup relationship as long as no roll-up summary fields exist on the master object. Which social account features can be accessed from Salesforce 1? Twitter. You can't access social accounts features for Facebook, Cloud, or YouTube in Salesforce 1.